Hello and welcome to episode 19 of our Timberborn Update 6 Wonders of Water playthrough with the Iron Teeth faction here in Cycle 34, Day 2. We are back at it once again. Tried to do this video yesterday, but my computer said, nope, no you're not, go to bed. So that's what happened. Anyway, we're back once again. Last time in this episode of this series, we got most of our population tower constructed. We've got a little bit left, and we'll talk about that at some point later. But we also have a bunch of these trees that got planted that should be grown at some point during today's episode. These are still around 20%, 23 or so. And now the big question is, what are we doing with industry? And I asked you guys last episode to give me your thoughts, and the overwhelming opinion is that we should be taking our 6x1 overhangs and putting all the industry up here. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be time-lapsing this in a little bit, but first I want to talk a little bit more about what we're actually going to get done up here. Of course, this whole area is 6x1, but we have the step-down thing right here, right? And while I could put a couple more of these here, I can't place it on top of the nubs. So what we're going to have to do in this area, go ahead and take this staircase out. But what we're going to have to do in this area is probably going to be take these, let's do 5x1s. Take the 5x1s and put them here so that everything will be lined up nicely. So in this specific instance, probably what's going to end up happening is, I don't want them to build this, so I'm going to hit pause. Just for the sake of example, I'll just do, say, these guys right here. But up here, we already have this able to come across like so, so that's probably what I'm going to end up doing here. But the appeal behind doing this way is so that we can have a nice graduated system right here. Just take a look at this. That is going to be pretty sweet. The only issue we're going to have is getting power to everything because of how the nubs stick out here. They're not going to transfer power up. So we are going to have to be careful about how we put buildings in and take care of all of our different spaces here. But there's a couple ways we can solve that. I still haven't fully decided if we're going to do bots in this series or not. But if we were to do bots, the bot part factory is a 2-story building that does transfer power. I'm going to go ahead and unlock the building anyway, but you see what happens right here is they don't transfer power to each other quite like this. If you line them up back to back, they will. But we have the ability, should we so choose, to do this a couple of different ways. And I think perhaps the most compelling way, in my opinion, to get this done would be to put in these piles underneath something like this, and then, say, for example, put the bot assembler on top. Now you have these two things touching in a way that conveys power, and you have a pretty convenient way to step down in terms of the pathway, which we could put right here, or something to that effect. And then if we need to get power down this way, then obviously we'd have to do something else. But there's a couple different ways we could accomplish the task of getting power to transfer down the staircase. Or if we're really, really out of ideas, then we could, I don't know, we could figure something else out. It honestly would not be that hard. But just to give you guys a little bit of an opportunity to think about what you might want to see, if you have any different ideas, or if you just say, hey, this is stupid, what? Don't do that, do something else. Well, let me know in the comments. It's a let's play, not a watch me play. I want you guys to be involved. And you've done a very good job of letting me know stuff so far, so I want to make sure I give you that opportunity. But for right now, let's go ahead and take these things out, because I really don't want them to be using the resources that we do have right now to build this until we are absolutely sure that that's what's going to be happening. So we're going to have that set in place, and so on and so forth. Before we continue, I am going to go ahead and remove this path here, because what we're going to end up doing is filling this in nice and easy. And I'm going to plant more trees here because it's not a secret. We've had a very, very, very poor supply of trees for a super long period of time. And we're not currently using all of our pine resin, so these pine trees are going to become farmable in a hurry. So that is what we are going to do. I'll just get this whole thing planted. I know there's some areas right here that are going to be dealing with the pollution. Probably best way to handle that in all honesty, is going to be to just get these things situated here as best as we can. Obviously, that's not going to be the most expeditious option, but, you know, you do what you can. That's our eternal motto anyway. So we just have to make sure that we're being smart about how we have stuff taken care of here. And now, because I cut this path off... Oh, we have a silly Billy already? Come on, man. Alright, who is it? Who's our silly Billy? Adrian. Adrian, come on. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's bad form. Well, we'll go ahead and let them speed that up and get to work on the rest of this stuff. So you can see up here, we have some trees. We have these foresters and everything. We have lumberjack flags that are able to harvest stuff. But what we're going to end up doing is we're going to have to relocate where this forester is going because... Pardon me muting to cough so I don't completely blow your eardrums out, but we're going to be putting these overhangs up here. Because I'm pretty sure what we want to do is have all of our food production on this side, where the food's grown. Then all of our industrial production over here, where the wood and the metal and everything else gets taken care of. So that's my goal. And that's what we're going to be working toward. So you're going to see some stuff happen quickly, some stuff happen not so quickly. And we're going to do our best to do whatever we can to make stuff possible. So I'm going to put in pine trees here. Make sure this whole area is marked for cutting, which none of it is right now. Like I said, we don't have a need for this pine resin at this exact moment, so this is all going to become eligible for cutting. And another thing that was suggested, I guess we just go ahead and try right now so I can show you why it's not really going to work, but I do want to give it an honest try. Give the beavers, quote-unquote, a weekend to take advantage of all of the well-being stuff. Right now, the well-being is at 26. It is going to probably go up a little bit, but it's not going to go up a ton. But I will go ahead, take it down to, say, 4 hours, so they can still do a little bit of work. But we'll take it down to 4 hours, and you'll see as this time-lapse gets started here that it's going to go up a little bit, but there's not that much that we have built that they can't get access to during the day. So any huge increase in well-being is going to have to come once all of the different facilities are in place and stuff is optimized a little bit more, which we will get to, but that's not going to be an issue. So what you're seeing now is I'm coming in and I'm placing the overhangs. I'm taking out the water wheels and the platforms that were already queued up for construction but not yet built, so that I can place the water wheels back in the correct place on top of the platforms, overhangs, so on and so forth. And as they have the materials to actually construct those, they're going to construct them. And then we're going to come back and do a little bit of a live play portion, I guess we could call it, where we're placing different industrial things and starting the process of moving stuff upstairs. All right, so let's take this out of the time lapse real quick here. And I want to show you something. I didn't even consider this until we got to this point. But the level of the platforms here is actually perfect because it lines right up with these large warehouses here. I literally could not have done a better job with this if I had planned this out. But I think this is going to end up being really good. And of course, what they're doing back here is they're putting in straight power shafts, so everything can end up being connected once it's all good to go. I'm going to go ahead and build this large water wheel. Again, we don't have a whole lot of resources, so I want to be careful with what we use at any given point in time. But now we have to talk about how we're going to fill up this space. And I've got a couple of ideas. First of all, before we get too far, let's turn on these lumberjack flags so our beavers can actually get some work done. But if we take this space, since they're building this, why don't we, for example, just say wood workshops would fit really, really well right here. Just hit pause on those so they don't accidentally build them. But what this would allow us to do is we have a very, very simple path to get over here. And then what I would do in this space on this edge here is I would place in a ladder. Again, I'm going to hit pause so they don't accidentally build it. And then on top of that, I would have these 3x1 overhangs just all the way across here. Again, going to hit pause so they don't accidentally start building it or on purpose start building it. And what that would give us is this doesn't really look too bad. And it allows us to have plenty of space for storage that we can build on top of. And then what I would do here is, depending on what we're making, you could have those piles, and then you could have this large warehouse right next to it, and everything would be really, really closely and easily accessible, which is obviously our goal. So what are we making here? Wood Workshop is making the treated planks. So what goes into that is planks and pine resin. Obviously, you're not going to want to have 1,200 pine... Maybe you would. I personally would not ever do that, but in case you really wanted to, you could have 1,200 pine resin, and then you could have... Now, come on. You could have right next to it, you could have planks, and you could have more planks. And then on this other side, you know, because I haven't done enough, right? You put in 2 more industrial piles, and now you have space for treated planks. So right here, in this same area, you have everything you're ever going to need to make more treated planks than you'd ever be able to use. So take a look here at the efficient mine. Every hour, this efficient mine consumes half of a treated plank. So as long as every hour we can make at least half of a treated plank between all 3 of these buildings, we're going to be good to go. And right now, this one every 3 hours can make 1. So every hour, this one building makes 1/3 of a treated plank. So 2 of these is going to be more than enough for the efficient mine to handle. And to my knowledge, just based off of what I can recall right now, I don't think there's anything else that regularly uses, in an industrial process, regularly uses the treated planks. Obviously, you're going to have stuff like the wonders and some of the well-being stuff. Decorations maybe might have. No, actually, nothing in decorations uses the treated planks. I'm pretty sure it's just our monuments. Obviously, the Earth Repopulator needs 2,000 of them. So yes, while 2 would be suffice technically for whatever we are going to be continuously producing, 3 would be the smarter move, so we can keep overproducing and have enough to get some momentum for the in-game stuff. So I think that's what we're going to be doing. Again, I'm going to keep these overhangs paused because we do not have the resources to build all this at this exact point in time. But you can see what I'm getting at here. And I think for this specific purpose, I don't want 1,200 pine resin stored up here. So I'm going to just do medium warehouse, probably right like this. I'll put 2 of them in. So we have one of these for pine resin, and then, I don't know, something else. Or we could have 2 for pine resin, but we do not need 1,200 pine resin. We super don't. This is going to use, every hour, we're going to use 1 pine resin. We don't need to store 1,200 of it. That's completely insane. So you might be saying, how are we going to get up here? Well, we have platforms, which again, I'm going to pause. Nope. I'm going to pause so they don't accidentally build these. So what would happen here is we have everything coming up like this. And then in this specific example, we have this space inset because I didn't want to have 1,200. Well, what else can you put there? You got small tanks. So this would be a great place to just have some simple storage for water. Or if we get into bots, would be a great place for grease. But for our purposes here, I'm thinking just water and coffee set to obtain nice, simple refreshment station. And wham, bam, there you go. Everything to do with our treated planks. Perfect, wonderful, amazing, flawless. So I think we should go with this. Obviously, you are free to disagree. You can post your opinions, comments, suggestions, as always. But I think this is going to be a really smart thing for us to do. And the reason this is closest here is because I've got an idea that all of the wood stuff should be based around plank production. What that's going to do is give us an opportunity to have the industrial lumber mills in the center here, so that way the planks can go that way, and then if we're making stuff with gears, they go this way. And then on the end, we can have the all the metal stuff, or if we decide would make more sense, we could put all the metal production down here if we have those continue this way, which, hey, I think that would probably be a great idea. But as always, you're welcome to give me your feedback, your ideas, so on and so forth. So if I were to put this industrial lumber mill here, then I've got space back here, and I've got to decide what to do with that. And because everything is connected, we actually have the creativity. Let's hit pause. We have the creative option to come in and do something like this, where now we have 3 of these, and we don't have to have something connected to this nub because all of these are connected along the back, or they will be once they're built. So say, for example, we did something like this, then I could come in with my 3x1 overhangs right here. And depending on how we want to have stuff set up, we can also, right here, because the doorway, well, it doesn't really matter where the doorway is now, does it? Take this away, take this away. This can suddenly become a ladder. Again, paused. And then, now we have very, very easy access right here to come in with more large industrial piles. And our treated planks are here. Maybe I should put the treated planks on this side so we can share space. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. These can be treated planks. And then these guys, yeah, these guys right here can just be regular planks, because then these can be regular planks. That's going to be great. That's going to be perfect, because I'm pretty sure, depending on if we get into bots or not, I guess I'll leave that up to you guys, but we're going to need more storage for planks. So if we did that, yeah, let's just go ahead and adopt this formally. I think there's one more of these I have to pause. Yeah, there we go. And then we can come over this way. Obviously, this has yet to been built. But you can see the appeal of doing something like this, right? Especially with these 3x2 buildings that aren't 4x2. We'll also need to come over here with these paths and turn these into the irrigation barriers. But those are 10 logs apiece. I'd rather wait to build those until we have to. But we can't forget that we need to do this. So now that this is all going to get built anyway. Well, you know what? No, there's no reason to have the platforms paused. But the rest of this stuff, the overhangs, definitely. Let's go ahead and let them get started building this. We have so much other stuff to do. But you cannot let me forget that we have to put the irrigation barriers here. But I would rather focus on getting all of these overhangs in place. And then, of course, continuing what we've got over here. But I'm envisioning, based on what we were looking at doing before, something nice and simple. Nice and simple, just like this. We're going to have a little bit of quote-unquote wasted space here, but look at this. Look how clean and simple this is. We have 6 industrial lumber mills right here. And I love how they just, and by love I mean, I'm not going to say hate, because that's a stupid emotion to have about a game, but the math is not mathing for me and my smooth brain here. So every 0.63 hours, not even full 2/3 of an hour, each one of these will make 1 plank. So if we have 6 of them, then let's just say every 2/3 of an hour, we're going to have 6 planks. So every hour, we'll have 9-ish, right? And what do these consume? Every hour, 1/3 of a plank. So every hour, each of these together, that's not how that works. The 3 wood workshops together, every hour will consume 1 plank. These are producing 9. And if we go into gear workshops, then 3 gear workshop will consume 1 plank. We're probably going to need to have more than 3 of them. I'd probably build at least 6. We'll probably have to build more. Who knows? But for the sake of making stuff that is appealing and intelligently laid out, I think this is the best way to do it. Of course, if you have differing opinions, I will always welcome those. But I really, really like the idea of doing this way. So I'm going to make these into log holders, storages. And so, yeah, we're going to have all these logs coming up from downstairs. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave these ladders here because, remember, they're not going to be able to get up unless we have some sort of way for them to get across that isn't just over here. We're going to have to figure that out. I'm thinking it's most likely going to have to be going over the wheels, and that might be something we have to figure out passage-wise. But I am really, really liking this. I know I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to be criticizing this because it's ugly or it blocks the view of stuff. But from an efficiency perspective, this is fantastic. This is like, you can't get too much better than this. So, I'm going to go ahead and place that there, just because I can. Get this connected. Of course, we're going to have more stuff on the back side, but I believe we're going to be in a really, really good spot, friends. This is going to be some good stuff. We're going to be so productive. It's all coming together very nicely. Yeah, so, you know, it's not perfect, but I think this is fantastic. So what we're going to have to do now is just kind of wait for stuff to grow and get constructed. And, you know, it's just a whole process. I am going to, come on. I'm going to build these water wheels before everything gets locked in behind it. And that's going to be the most important thing. But this one would go right here, except I don't have the ability to take this double platform out yet. I think what is going to have to happen is we're going to have a way to get a path across here. And like I said, that's a big challenge in how this is set up. It might be something that I'm going to have to figure out some other way. I'm not exactly sure how to make that work because, you know, you can't have the path go up through a power shaft. And I apparently decided that I had to have this entire backside completely filled with power shafts. So one of these is just going to have to not have... Oh, they already have most of the stuff here. But I was just thinking, one of these is not going to be able to have a water wheel in place. And it wouldn't necessarily be bad, because, you know, we're generating so much power. Of course, it's the one that they've done the most progress on I'm going to end up getting rid of. But this is going to allow us to have access back and forth, which is going to be very important. Or is it? Is it actually going to be that important, or can I just do it at the end? So I think I have to decide before I hit unpause. Because what other reason would there be to go back and forth to the outside? I mean, there really wouldn't be one outside of building. And by the time that becomes an issue, then they can just take their time, go around. You know what? I'll just leave it in place. Just leave it in place. Then we'll build this, before we close in anything else over here, we'll just build this way. But yeah, that's about the size of what I'm thinking here. Obviously, we have plenty of room to change stuff if we decide that that's going to be an actual problem. We got stuff to think about. If we have this come all the way down, then I'll just have to figure out a place to go up with all of this wood. I mean, we have right here. It's not really that hard. Obviously, the back side of this is fully closed off. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. We also have underneath here. As long as we can just connect to this, then we'll be okay. Which I imagine it's not going to let me go too much further. But I could, like, say, for example, there's a ladder here. I could just have this come up to this side. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But they'll take care of that. They'll get stuff built, and then we'll keep monitoring it. Obviously, these pine trees are still growing, and that's fine. So we might as well, while we're waiting for them to do that, I am going to put this in time-lapse mode. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the stuff you guys left in the comments. And a little bit of other stuff while they work on that. So hopefully you saw during the first time-lapse that having the beavers on that 4-hour workday did increase the well-being to about 31. But considering where we are right now, that's not really a big enough improvement to make any sort of lasting effect, because the interval for increasing lifespan, increasing movement speed, increasing working speed of the beavers is, I think, once it gets to a certain point, and it's like plus another 10 points. So we'd have to have an average, in theory, obviously each beaver's level is different, but we would have to have an average of, I think, 37 to make the next big jump from an average of 27. And we're just not quite there yet. So once we have everything else built in terms of the well-being and the decorations and the monuments and stuff, then yes, we're going to have a massive increase in well-building. Well, the building will get better, but well-being is the correct term here. And that's going to be great, but we're just simply not there yet. So outside of that, I did want to discuss power storage, because that's come up in comments a couple times talking about, well, hey, during the droughts you're not going to have any power. Well, yeah, okay, that's how it works. But remember earlier in the series, and I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode or the previous episode. I know I definitely talked about it in the episode I was recording yesterday that was permanently lost because my computer crashed, but the giant reservoir was going to have those big flywheels in it. The large framed ones that lose 1 HP per hour and hold 150,000. Yeah, I'm going to put a bunch of those in there. And that's going to store a ton of power. It's going to be easy to directly connect it. And we're going to have a fantastic power source. It's going to be consistent, easily available, and it's going to solve a whole lot of our problems. So you can get excited about that. That's going to be cool. Obviously, it's going to take some time to build, but we're doing the best we can to get stuff up and running. Hopefully, by the end of this episode, we'll have at least some of the wood industry started up here in this area we're watching them build. But the way things are going with the production of the planks and especially harvesting wood from the trees, yeah, I'm not going to put my money on it. Well, I don't really care to bet much anyway, but definitely not on this. So I will let them go ahead and continue working on this. By the time you hear my voice again, we'll be out of the time lapse and hopefully well on our way to getting some more of our industry up and running up here. Alright, so you can see that we've made some really nice progress here. I am going to pause this one lumber mill though, just because we do not have enough beavers to be running all these things. I know that irritates some of you guys a lot. But we have, right now, more lumber mills functioning upstairs than we do downstairs. I'm not going to get rid of any of this quite yet, but we are going to start the process of migrating a bunch of that up here. But I wanted to make sure that we had enough stuff built up so that we didn't run out of logs or out of planks or anything quite yet. Metal is going to start to be a problem pretty soon as well, and I know I've had the mine pause because, one, I didn't have enough beavers to run everything, two, because I was tired of them all being injured. Right now we have only 3 incapacitated, which is always nice. But, hey, you know what we don't have here? We don't have this lumberjack flag unpaused. I know I'm going to get called out for that, so we'll go ahead and get them rocking and rolling there. In fact, might be beneficial to give them a little bit of help. Yeah, that will be able to get most of that, and that'll be able to get most of that. And then I think, yeah, I can pause these two. That'll be fine. The builders' huts probably should be all deprioritized. Oh, okay. So that's actually looking pretty good already. But I think now is the time, friends, to go ahead and unpause all of these overhangs, get this whole area set up, ready to go, and then start the process of moving everything else back up here, or not back up here, just up here in general. Now that I don't have all these trees ready to go, I think we're going to be okay to keep going. But I'm thinking these 6 right here are probably going to be enough for us to be able to take care of most of what we want to take care of. The Iron Teeth do not have the printing press that the Folktales have, so I was thinking to myself, oh, maybe I could just put 2... Nope, they don't have those, but this space right here, if I use it with gear workshops, going to have to be careful about how we have stuff hooked up, because, again, there is the space consideration, but because we have this power shaft all the way around the back here, it's not going to be an issue of these buildings all having to touch under all circumstances. So I will go ahead and get this 6x1 in place, and then I guess just put this in, but pause it. I still have to decide, I guess you guys have to decide exactly what I'm doing over here. I am probably partial to just, you know, doing one of these kind of numbers, but we can, the top level, they could all be, they can all come out this way. That's fine, but just remember to let me know your opinion about doing this kind of thing. If you like that idea or don't like that idea, I want to hear from you either way, so please do let me know. But I know for a fact that right here, we absolutely can get this whole thing situated right like so. The only question is going to be how to put in our gear workshops. Like I said, gonna want, depending on what we're doing, if we're gonna have bots or not. Just remember, oh, I have to show you the recipe here. We have to have, at the very least, every 2 hours, 1 gear for the efficient mine. And then, of course, if we do get into bots, then that's an entirely different ballgame, because then the math gets really, really, really fuzzy on how many gears you need. But I'm imagining we're probably going to get into that, and then we have, of course, Tribute to Ingenuity requires 400, and the Earth Repopulator requires 1,500. So we're going to need to have gears. It's just a question of how many and how often. But for where we are right now, I can very confidently say we will need at least 2 of them. So I'm going to flop those in there like that. And then because these have the pathing requirement here and here, that's going to be just fine. So this is log storage. I guess I could just show you this. Logs, logs, planks, planks, treated planks. And then because gears take planks, what I'm imagining we're going to have to do is, actually, before we get too much further here, that might actually cause issues if I do it the wrong way. I guess right here is going to make the most sense. I just want to make sure that I'm putting in ladders in the correct locations here before we get too carried away. But yes, gonna have to put in our additional overhangs here and here. And then that's going to give us probably, I would imagine, 2 more things of that right there. And then the large warehouse, yes. You don't need 1,200 gears. You're absolutely right, but I'm going to do it anyway because, yeah, why not? Just give them something to strive for. Probably going to be the only gear storage on the map if we're going to be perfectly honest with each other. But that will give them something to do. And we'll just let them do what they've got to do. But that's going to give a lot of opportunity for industrial greatness up here. I guess we could choose to call it that. And then we have all this space on top here that we could place stuff on if we felt so inclined. We can maybe, depending on, oh yes, we can put overhangs on top of all this mess. Wow, I can't believe it's going to let me get away with this. Even right here. Oh man, 3x1 overhangs on top of this. I'm going to have a 6 wide space. I can go all the way across here. You know what we can fit on that? That would be a lot of exercise plazas. Technically wind tunnels. Not motivatoriums though. Those have to be on the ground. But we've got so much space that we could do stuff with by putting this up top here. Could you imagine just having this entire thing covered in exercise plazas? That would be stupid. It would be so dumb. Which means we're going to have to do it. You know, that's how that works. But I think pretty strongly that this is a very, very good start to our industrialization of this area up here. We've got lumber mills, we've got gear workshops, even though they're not technically connected. And then once I actually build these, wood workshops, which is everything happening down here with the exception of the smelters, which we've already discussed, are probably going to go here. And then the food factories and all that, which are probably going to go over here. But I think that's going to be a thing for next time, as is this. Because I really want to hear your opinions on the stepping down of this area over here, seeing what our best possible ideas are for that. So we do have some room here in the corner. Realistically, probably going to be some more gear workshops, depending on how we want to lay things out. But I'm not firmly wedded to that. We can always change and see what else is happening. But I think based on the resources that we have here, I can at the very least build one of these wood workshops and get that taken care of. And then I'll wait for you guys and your opinions on everything else with that. But I guess the last thing, I can't remember if I talked about this. I don't think I did in this recording. But somebody in the comments said that they wanted to see another layer of barracks on top of this one, instead of how I have this currently set up with the, what are these things called? Wind tunnels? It's not really a tunnel, but whatever. Indoor-outdoor beaver skydiving apparatus / drone propeller, whatever this is. So as it stands now, everything housing-wise is connected, and it's going to be about 480 in terms of capacity. I wanted to try to go around 500 for total capacity, so right now we're pretty much there. If I really wanted to, I could put another couple small barracks and then get us to 500. But I really don't think we need another level on top. I mean, if you guys really want one, then I'll do it, but I really don't think we're going to need another level on top of that. So I'm content to just let them build out the rest of this, build up these ladders and get the access sorted out and everything. But just wanted to float that idea in case anyone had strong feelings one way or the other about it, give you guys an opportunity to respond. And that's probably going to just about do it for today. Still a little bit under the weather, trying to get my voice to come back, so it's still going to be a short episode, and then probably for a while. I'm looking into figuring out why that's the case, but you got to do what you can. Got to keep the momentum going. As many of you who have been saying, just take the whole weekend off. I cannot do that or YouTube will crush me. Like, I literally, if I don't upload for a whole weekend, then the algorithm's just going to go, see ya. Like in Toy Story where where Andy's just like, I don't want to play with you anymore. And that's what the algorithm does to channels who break their regularly uploading continuity. So while I do frequently say in the end of episode stuff that the beard boosters make it possible to not be beholden to the algorithm, I need you to understand that's for the context of choosing what to do, not when to do it. So since I've been uploading daily for, well, at this point, pretty much 2 straight years, minus a couple of specific days that I did not or could not upload, any significant change to that is really going to screw things up. So that's why we're still doing these little half-hour videos. Most people don't upload hour and a half insanity on gaming stuff, but for some reason that became the normal over here, and it's fine by me. I'm having a good time, but just so everybody's on the same page, that's what's going on. Trying my best to make sure that the channel does not get buried, because I really like what we're doing here, and I want to keep doing it for a long time. You guys have been a very, very, very helpful, positive impact on my life. And this has turned into, I guess at this point, my primary job, which is insane to think about. So I want to make sure I'm not squandering that opportunity, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure I can take full advantage of everything. So that's where we're at. But I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, and like I said, Beard Boosters, all of your support has been absolutely invaluable. Could not do it without you. Very, very thankful that I get the opportunity to do this at all, let alone, well, I guess I should have reversed that, but you get the point. I'm really glad we get to do this. I hope we can continue doing it for a long time, and I'm excited for what comes next. We've got all sorts of cool stuff up in the pipeline. Ostriv Alpha 6 supposedly coming in January, which is going to be exciting, which is all the more reason to get these things accomplished and move on to the next, so we don't have a backlog when it comes up to that. But I'm hoping to get streams going back again soon. Hoping. I can't guarantee, but very, very much interested in doing that. And then some other exciting, interesting opportunities as well, depending on how next couple weeks go. Might have some really cool stuff for you guys. But I digress. That's all the time I got. Have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.